Hello. This is for, I believe the username is, or excuse me, TikTok tag name is A-List Anna Nicole. That's A-List Anna Nicole. You may not respond to this, and that's fine. I'm not necessarily looking for a response, although you may give one to me anyway. Um, my TikTok is Dragon King 72 Media LLC. Um, my It's the same on my TikTok. It's the same on my YouTube channel, and I believe my Instagram. I mess around. I don't be over there so much, but whatever. Um, I was watching your video. Your video came down in my feed for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but the algorithm put it there. Um, I'm getting tongue tied. I don't know you respectfully, and you don't know me respectfully. You know, um, but as someone who again saw the video in its entirety that you put out about T.S. Madison recently, I believe. By the time you see this, it would have been 22 hours ago, um, on May the 23rd. This is May the 24th, um, 2026. Um, so I was watching the video, and you said some interesting things. When I say interesting, I don't mean I agree with what you said, but definitely worth notable uh, talking about. Um, my first thing that I want to discuss is we live in a very different world, than I grew up in as a Gen X. You, I'm assuming, are Gen Z, maybe on the board of Gen Z and Millennial, but I'm Gen X, and we grew up in the black culture. The black culture varies even within this country as to how people are raised and what they are taught. And let me also say, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to, you know, I guess, in a way, sit down at the table with you verbally. You know what I'm saying, and break bread with you verbally. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to open it. You know what I'm saying. And what you do with that knowledge or what you see is not knowledge, that's completely up to you. But you mentioned how you talked about T.S. Madison. I am no personal friend of T.S. Madison, because I don't know her personally. Much like thousands and hundreds of thousands, maybe a million people that watch her on her show YouTube called Fag Talk with Craig the Writer Stewart. She's been on RuPaul Drag Race. She's been in what is it, the Tyler Perry show, Beauty in Black, and she's been in various other things in the media. So I don't know her personally. So this is not some conversation that I know her personally, and I'm having with you as well. Um, as somebody who is a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, I am a gay black man, well educated, and I'm proud of every bit of it. I'm proud of all my education, proud of all my ups and downs as a black man, and it only gets worse as time goes on in this fucking society. Particularly having to deal with shit in our own black culture, the black church, and in society. And that brings me to this point. You mentioned how people like transgender women. Um, I noticed you didn't say transgender white women, but you were referring to T.S. Madison. So I'm assuming you wanted to stay within the black culture, as you mentioned that about transgender women being responsible for the DL men, the sassy men, zesty men, as your generation is saying now. Because my generation, unfortunately, said some nasty, horrible shit. But hey, that's the black culture, that's society. I would counter what you just said about transgender women being responsible for DL men. No, no, society is responsible. The black culture is responsible. The black church is responsible. The inappropriate black figures that we have in our societies as leaders, meaning ex-con, people that have been in jail for years, drug dealers on the street. The black culture has enamored. They are enamored in those people. They are in awe of that. But when it comes to the gay black man, you know, we know that, yeah, you've accomplished all this, but you're still gay. So you mean nothing compared to the ex-con or the baby daddy got all the kids. And, so in the black culture, you know, uh, generally, those people are honored and respected. So somebody who is different, particularly gay or transgender, they will never be seen as something proper and as something as honest and decent and just good human beings, because the black culture has embedded in our culture mentally that we celebrate people who went to jail for 20 years. We celebrate men who, not you, because I don't know you per se, but we celebrate men who beat on women consistently. Chris Brown, Brian McKnight, and others of your favorite rappers and basketball players. We celebrate, yeah, they did all those bad things, but they're good players. They straight men. They believe in God. So I don't give them a pass to be all of that, but because they straight, it's okay. And that is what a lot of black women, I'm not saying you because I don't know you personally, but that is 95 to almost 100% of our culture that believes in that. You know what I'm saying? That supports those type of men, that which makes it, better than somebody who is gay or trans or lesbian or someplace or bisexual or some person like that. Because yeah, you might be successful, you might be helping folks, but you still a faggot, you still a punk, you still a sissy, you still a transgender, you still a wannabe, and I'm gonna use your words, cosplaying as a woman for transgender women. And I noticed also there is so much hate for black transgender women than there is, for white transgender women. But again, you're referencing someone within our own culture. So I'm assuming that's where all the energy is going to and coming from. Um, and so, again, as a black man, I'm looking at this like we revere these so-called men that are straight, but they out here, they're endangerment to society. And I'm not saying that people can't change, but why do we as black people keep revering these bad ideological representations? You know, because there are plenty of black men out here who hate black women. I honestly don't think T.S. Madison is one of them. Now, at this point, you think, okay, here he go. Now he's trying to defend T.S. Madison. What I'm going to defend is what I've seen. What I'm going to defend is what I know based on how I've seen other trans women who are black treat black or born female women. That's what I'm defending. And so you have situations where, like for instance, I don't know if you ever watched the Queen's Court show with T.S. Madison and Kaya the rapper, right? Kaya and T.S. Madison was creating something that it was so unique as far as what we saw, and I was loving it. there were even times where T.S. Madison was discussing this very same topic that you were talking about how people were saying that she didn't appreciate black women, she hated black women, and Kaya had told her, "No, I don't get that from you. You're trans woman, but just trans woman, and I don't get that from you." Now, Kaya is a full-fledged, born free woman, and she said that to T.S. Madison. It was when the fallout happened, it's when all of a sudden, oh, now it's being spread that T.S. Madison hate black women. But prior to the fallout, her and Kaya supported her being a trans woman. She said she was a woman, but just a trans woman, you know. And T.S. Madison has always recognized that she is not a born female. She cannot give birth. She cannot have menstrual cycles. When that whole shit came out with just with her bullshit ass, not hilarious. T.S. Madison and other outside of the one trans woman who was talking out the side of her neck, all the other trans women said no. Trans women cannot have children. They can, as far as birth, they cannot have a menstrual cycle. T.S. Madison was one of the first to admit that. And she had no problem with any woman saying it because she agreed with them. Minus the trans woman who was saying that they can have kids. What she was trying to say was trans men can have children because they still have their organs. They still have their female anatomy born organs. You know what I'm saying? To have children. Okay, the aesthetic looks male, but the organs, they still have their vagina, their uterus, all the different female organs that are needed to give birth to a child. Trans men who haven't had the surgery can still produce children, but that's another conversation. We're talking about T.S. Madison and how you said that she hated women. No, there was many cases, you know. Where she had a conversation with Nene Leakes on her Nene Leakes show. I don't know if you ever saw that garbage. You know what I'm saying? But not Real Housewives of Atlanta, but the Nene Leakes show. And my hand getting tired a little bit holding this. And they were having a conversation. And Nene Leakes said, I could never date a man who would be with a woman like you, meaning trans woman, meaning not born female. T.S. Madison changed. Now she could have went a whole different direction, but she didn't. She changed that whole what that narrative could have been and said, "Hey, well, when he looking at you and me, he don't know if I'm a man yet or a woman before he look at me. It was only after once it gets discussed, once things get, I guess revealed, you know what I'm saying, then he knows that. But in the interim, he believes he's looking at two women. Now that's another conversation you can have about how, trans women don't always. I'm not gonna get into that conversation because I know that most men know, they know when they know they have a trans woman, they fall in love with that trans woman. What they don't do is live in their truth. What you were talking about, the DLs, men who date trans women don't live in their truth. Because the moment the homeboy catches them or they out somewhere and people notice, all of a sudden, oh, she lied to me. The trans woman lied to me and this, that. Then they end up killing and unaliving the trans woman. And see, and that's the evolution of what the conversation or the video you made and the one I'm responding to. You know what I'm saying? That's where it gets to next. All these transgender, specifically black women, are being killed. And just so we clear for you and your viewers that are going to see this, it ain't always that, oh, they should. No, they knew. They unalived these trans women because they didn't want their homies and their family to find out. They're embarrassed. They're ashamed when they shouldn't be. Because if that's, like you said, live in your truth. And if that's your truth, live in it, right? But again, we going back to the DL aspect of what you were saying. Okay? Trans people, women did not make DL men. Society has destroyed them. The black church. We know that the black church is fucking notorious. The black church is fucking notorious for all the evil shit that goes on in that motherfucker. Not everybody in there is on that same monster time, because some of them are true good people. But the majority of the environment itself is a catalyst for nothing but pure fucking evil. That's what's going on there. That's why I'm no longer a Christian. Because the hypocrisy, the bigotry towards other folks, in the church, is astronomical. Not to mention all the nonsense and the hidden secrets, okay? But again, touching on that even a little bit deeper, the same people who would have a problem with a trans person, same black people in church, black Christians that will have a problem with a trans person, a gay, a lesbian, a bisexual, these are the same motherfuckers who are sitting in back of a hotel, in a hotel in back of a Waffle House, at a Motel 8, getting their shit rammed in by the very same motherfuckers they did a sermon about. By the very same, eating the same box, by the very same people they say they can't stand. So if we gonna talk about what and who and they and all of that turned men into DL men, we gonna talk about all of it. We're going to talk about the black church, society. We're going to talk about the people did not show them enough love, enough support to be themselves. And number 5, for them to have the fucking courage to say, fuck all that, I'm going to be who I am. So transgender women are not the problem. Okay? The problem is society at large. Okay? And this fucking government is not supporting anybody to be themselves. Look what the fuck they doing out here. They don't give a fuck about me or you. They don't give a fuck about us. Then you have the religion is a fucking problem too. Religion has caused people to not love themselves, not love their family members who are different from them. The black people are the most homophobic motherfuckers walking. But we ain't gonna admit that, because we in other areas are so charitable to white folks and so charitable to other systems. But when it comes to our own people, we are fucking homophobic like a motherfucker. Okay? She said women. You said that T.S. Madison said that women create DL. With it being the main reason, absolutely not. With it being a part of the overall accountability factor, absolutely. And here's why. Here's why. I had the unfortunate pleasure of walking in a department store. The little boy couldn't have been no more than 14, 15 years old. This was just recently. And we ain't got too many department stores left. The mother said, "Oh no, I don't want you wearing that color shirt." It wasn't even pink. It was more like a coral pinkish shirt, summertime shit. "Oh no, that's for girls and sissies and punks and fags." I'm standing right behind her like, wait a minute, did I just hear? And the little boy is like, "Mom, what are you talking about? This is something for the summer. Everybody, this is a summer color. It's a summer style. I don't want my son wearing it. That's the fag shit." Boy put it down, shaked his head, went the other way in the department store, and his mama went. She kept calling him, but he kept fucking going. And I'm looking at this like, damn, is this what's happening? My mother never said those things to me. Other things were said. You know what I'm saying, in regards to, but you know what I'm saying. It wasn't as. It was a little bit more polite. You know what I'm saying? And no, I'm not saying my mother hate me for being gay, because she does not. But This generation would, it's just, there's other, you could have been like, well, I mean, could maybe you want something more neutral or whatever. But a mother who understands that at the end of the day, that's her child, wouldn't have gave a fuck what he wore. Wouldn't have gave a fuck what he wore. She would just been glad that he's in front of her. He living, he existing. He sees what he likes, and that's it. But we don't live in that fucking world. And I see more and more women blatantly telling they fucking sons that are going to become men that you are a punk for doing this. You are a sissy. Don't be messing around with them because they, what you're going to create is a sense of, I'm not sure if I should be doing this. I'm not sure if I should be doing that. Right? And let's say the son turns out gay. That 15-year-old gentleman the young boy that I was just talking about. Let's say he turns out gay, but he's DL. He doesn't want to do anything that is going to deter his mother from thinking that he is a straight, heterosexual, pussy-loving man. While at the same time, he knows that I'm gonna give her what she needs as far as how my mother sees me, but I'm gonna be out here. I'm gonna unfortunately have to be on the sneak and as whatever the fucking the other word you use, sneaking and geeking or keeking or whatever the fuck you use. I'm sure that's a local term where you from. And still get my dick sucked, still fuck some ass, still get fucked. While at the same time giving my mother what she needs as far as the aesthetic and how she needs to see her son. But at the end of the day, motherfuckers are not happy. And if he the type of individual that has had enough, two things are going to happen. He either going to kill himself or he's going to come out as gay and move away from his family. Or don't have shit to do with them in the same fucking city. And maybe then he will learn to love himself. Same thing go for women. Maybe she will learn to love herself. You know what I'm saying? Or unfortunately, she may kill herself. So while I don't think from the majority accountability of it all, women have played a role. This generation definitely has, and some of the past generations too. But for you to say that it's transgender women that have made these DL men zesty, you are out of your fucking mind. Society, religion, black culture, the black church, and a small accountability of women have made have made DL men DL men. It ain't got nothing to do with transgender. It ain't got nothing. It ain't got nothing to do. And this is from a gay man. Okay, it ain't got nothing to do with transgender women, specifically black women. And why is black people, particularly black men, they want to unalive these black trans women so bad? You don't see all this going on in the white trans culture so much, but definitely in the black culture dealing with black trans women. You're not, and not you, because I don't know if you, whatever, you've been involved in something or not, but not all, but most think that they're doing a service, a biblical religious service to get rid of trans women who are black in the black culture. And by the way, sis, by the way, I don't know if you are a Christian or whatever, but the Bible destroyed black people. And it still is destroying black people. I don't know if you knew. So whether you're a Christian or not, you know what I'm saying, the Bible has destroyed black people. The moment we were freed and still accepted Christianity as our faith, slavery didn't kill us. It was accepting Christianity after slavery is what killed us. And what keeps us where we are today. Those are facts. Those are the facts. So again, I don't know you, you don't know me, but the video came across my feed. It is public social media. So I decided, well, hey, if it's out there, I can compliment. Now you can respond to this however you want, or don't respond to it. But this, like I said, I don't know you. You don't know me. I don't know T.S. Madison on a personal level. But I can assure you, when you said, because the whole time I was just listening to the video, just interested in what you had to say about T.S. Madison. Not that I agree with none of it, because I don't. But it was when you said that transgender women are responsible for DL men, that's when you got me hook, line, and sinker. Now, I already told you who. Society, religion, black people, the black culture, black people, black culture, and a small amount of women who have treated their sons like garbage. The men who have treated their son like garbage. And black men are raised to not be loving and embracing of everybody. They're raised to not be gay. That's what they're raised for. They're raised to not be gay, not to accept people for who they are, not to be loving, not to be respectful, not to embrace people. You know what I'm saying? Not to set certain boundaries, you know what I'm saying, but still love, still accept, still support, no matter who they are. They're raised to not be gay. And those are facts. Those are facts. Okay? Those are facts. Because you don't know what your son gonna be. You can have the most straightest, the most you think you got that, but when they get to a point where they start loving themselves, decide not to take their own life, that's when it's great for them. Bad for you, because your mental trauma training doesn't work anymore. It's all but deleted because they've decided to love themselves. Now you probably thinking that everything I said is garbage. I don't give a fuck if you did. But today, you got the response you was looking for. Not from T.S. Madison, but you got it from me. Now, if you anybody of your people or anybody, go check out Dragon King 72 Media, L.L.C. I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel. I'm going to post this on my Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Now that I know what your name is, I'm going to tag you in it. Maybe your viewers can see it. Maybe you can see it in all the platforms that you are. Because I'm going to say this. The same people that y'all support, these basketball players, these musicians, perform. I can give you a whole list. Chris Brown, Kevin Hart, Tiger Woods. Give you a whole fucking list from all different genres of the different industries who hate black women. And y'all sisters, y'all will support their ass regardless. Y'all will support their ass regardless. But when it's a transgender person, all of a sudden it's full on attack. Because at the end of the day, those same men that you are protecting them from turning somebody into DL, them same men don't give a fuck about you as a darker skin, lighter skin, brown skin, whatever skin you are, woman. It's those same fucking men. All right. So, hope you got something out of it. If you didn't, I don't give a fuck. I just had to respond. We in a public media era. You put something out there, somebody gonna respond whether you like it or not. You can come back with all your colloquialisms. You can come back in your pink light room, which is pretty, by the way. And you come and do all the things, sister. Like I said, this wasn't nothing personal. It was some directive. Okay, it wasn't personal. It was a directive to you, and say, hey, this is what it is. You got this shit wrong. Peace out.